This ring, it's the greatest weapon in the universe. When and if to use it, that's the whole ball game, Junior.
Did you just use that ring to counterfeit money?
No.
Tell me how you got it. The ring.
You know how I got it. I sure as hell didn't interview for it.
Oh, well, shit, maybe you should have. Power like that, shouldn't you have to work for it?
I've been doing this since you were a baby. And the only way you're gonna get this ring is over my dead fucking body.
I think he likes me. Everybody is lying to us.
We're not leaving here until we find out what they're hiding. Danger's part of the job. You need to be fearless.
How are you chosen for this?
It's only one question. Are you afraid? You afraid?
Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid?
I was raised fearless, and I'll do this better than he's ever done it before.
Then go and get it, John Stewart.
What's up, film lovers? Thank you for clicking on my YouTube channel, The Silos Film Club. Today we're going to be talking about the new trailer that DCU Studios and HBO dropped, and that is the TV series Lanterns, which is a big part of the DCU James Gunn universe. And guys, this trailer is pretty green. I know the first trailer was getting a lot of hate all over social media because it looked boring and it did not have enough green, no projections, not a lot of action, and I think a lot of people was turning them off for this series. And guys, this new trailer, I personally think is awesome. It does have a lot of green and projections and a lot of mystery in it, and it keeps you wondering, what is this show gonna be, the final mystery of this show. And it turned a lot of people from not caring about the show to caring about the show, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about this trailer. But before we get started, do not forget to like and subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you guys do not miss a beat on any of the movie news. All right, guys, if you guys don't know about Lanterns, it is a TV series that follows rookie Green Lantern John Stewart, and he is trained by legendary veteran Hal Jordan. The two intergalactic space cops are paired up and drawn into a dark Earth-based murder mystery in the American Midwest. Their investigation leads them to a vast conspiracy and maybe some terrifying ancient horrors. Guys, that is the main premise of the show, but I will dive deep a little bit into what I think is going on and their dynamic of them two. And guys, it is pretty interesting of what this trailer has showed us. This trailer showed us a lot of green, a little bit of dynamic of Hal Jordan. You know, if you guys don't know the origin of the Green Lanterns or of the Green Lantern, is that it is wielded by the power of will. You're chosen by the ring. You're not, handpicked to be, a Green Lantern. I do think that this show for sure is going to be way different when it comes to the history of the Green Lanterns, and they've already talked about it. The Guardians of the Oa, they're the ones that are the head of the Lantern Corps. If you guys don't know, each universe has different lantern that is assigned to that universe, and Hal Jordan is assigned to our universe, and he's going to be training John Stewart. The thing about it though, in this, they're changing it. Even Chris Money, the showrunner of this show, he did Ozark. He also did the show Watchmen, which is phenomenal too as well. And he's inspired by True Detective. He already mentioned that in this show, John Stewart is actually going to be handpicked by the Guardians of Oa, which makes it a very different dynamic rather than him being chosen by the ring, which is pretty not canon to the comic books. Maybe a comic book here and there, he does get trained by Hal Jordan, but he's chosen by the ring. If you guys know, drop your comments down below if I'm wrong about that, but I think that's usually how it is throughout the entire comics of, the Green Lanterns. And I do think this is going to be a reason for it. So if you guys don't know, Hal Jordan's training John Stewart, right? He's putting into this training training. Pretty much he's shadowing them during this murder mystery that's going on in the Midwest. We do think, or at least Hal Jordan thinks, that there's a conspiracy in this town where, people are getting murdered out of nowhere. And he does think there is, it has something to do with something that's outer space, something that we humans can't see. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But why is Hal training Jordan? Is Hal on his way out? Is Hal even retiring? First, I thought it was going to be kind of like a Lethal Weapon situation where Hal is going to, put up the ring and, pass it down to somebody. But then that kind of defeats the purpose of, the ring actually finding someone that has the willpower to hold it. And it is a little different in the comic books. I really don't know what they're going to be doing with Hal Jordan. It seems like they're going to, off him in this show. He's a little bit older. He did not, sign a movie deal like John Stewart. John Stewart's Green Lantern is going to show up already in the Superman Man of Tomorrow film, which is already in production right now. So we know that John Stewart is going to be here for a while. I do think that Guardians of Oa knows something that we don't know, or at least the audience doesn't know, and Hal Jordan doesn't really even know. I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit, and I think that's why they're choosing John Stewart to get trained. Maybe they're looking at it as maybe not even a training session. He's just working along Hal Jordan because he can figure out that maybe Hal Jordan is not up to everything all good and gravy. Maybe he's up to something that he's not supposed to be doing, and maybe John Stewart is doing a private investigation on the side with that, or they know that he's gonna figure out, even though he's not sent for that. They're just telling him, hey, you're gonna be training with Hal Jordan, and he figures out that he is going to be that Hal's doing something he's not supposed to. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when I start to talk about who I think the main villain or one of the villains is going to be. But the dynamic between them two, it is a little different. Hal Jordan tells John Stewart that, hey, you have to earn this ring. You're not earning it. You got handpicked. And, John Stewart is like, maybe you should have been handpicked and, put into this training session because you don't know what you're doing. They're always trying to up on each other. Hal Jordan's a seasoned veteran, trying to, push him around, not physically because John Stewart is massive. Even in the show, he is so big compared to Kyle Chandler's John Stewart. Aaron Pierre brings his presence to him, which I do think is a perfect casting for John Stewart. And they do have this dynamic. Hal Jordan is always supposed to be a little witty and funny. He does kind of bring that a little bit here, but not as much as I expected. He's more just trying to big brother John Stewart. We see, that scene where, he counterfeits money with his ring. He uses his ring to project money to buy a song in the jukebox. But I don't know how the projections actually work. I thought that the, projections still had to be coming off the ring in order for you to, use that item or shape that you're creating or constructing. When he puts that money when he creates that money, that projection is gone, and he grabs the money, throws it into the jukebox. Can you create like shields all over like an area and just kind of leave them there and walk away and not have your ring projected? I thought that was an interesting choice. Maybe they're doing it a little different for the show or for the DC universe, but their dynamic is like that. John Stewart is calm, cool, collective. His background, he is an architect, and I do think that when they start showing, they didn't show him using the ring in this trailer, but when we do see him using his ring, his projections are going to be awesome. He is a Marine Corps architect, and you can actually see him training them in the Marines, doing missions, jumping off a plane. There is a big theme in this trailer, which is fear.
Are you afraid?
Fear, being scared. We actually see time jump of young John Stewart looking at the age Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan on TV, and they're asking him, what is it like to be Green Lantern? He goes, the question is, are you scared?
It's only one question. Are you afraid?
And I do think that we'll jump into this right now. Sinistro is going to be one part of the main villain pulling the strings in the back. Sinistro is a lantern that went rogue. I'll talk a little bit of his backstory. He is a yellow lantern, which is wielded by fear, not by the will, not by will, like how the Green Lantern is wielded by. The Green Lantern, you have to have willpower to wield it. The Yellow Lantern is fear, and Sinestro, it was a Green Lantern that went rogue, and I think that's why he is in prison. We do see Hal Jordan visiting Sinestro in prison. We don't know why. I don't know if he's checking in on him or checking with him or what's going on. How somehow, I do feel that, you know, the Guardians of Oa know maybe that Hal Jordan is somewhat influenced by Sinestro, and I'll explain why. That's why they're picking John Stewart to actually, be trained to be the next, the next Green Lantern. I don't know if the ring leaves you once you don't have the will, or how that works. I know that the ring is sparked by the will, but it's powered by the actual lantern. But I'll get into that right now. I do feel that we already saw the parallax in this trailer. If you guys don't remember that shot of Hal Jordan, John Stewart, that we've seen twice in the first and the second trailer, he gets put down and he gets shot with this gun that has some orange, looks like out of this world, symbiote looking thing. Not even a symbiote, it looks like a parasite. And I started putting two together until everyone started talking about something called the parallax. Parallax is a parasite that is embodied by fear, and I do think that somehow these people got into it, or these people are working for Sinestro. They're actual aliens, and they put John Stewart down and they try to hit him with fear. Maybe he has flashbacks of things that he was afraid of, or things that kind of got of his childhood and whatnot. And maybe at the end where you see John Stewart coming out with that with the lantern, with the Green Lantern, and his actual people were talking about it looked like a prison outfit and he didn't have no shoes. I do think that is like a hospital gown, and he doesn't have no shoes. I think at that point he gets out of that parallax state, because he is actually chosen by the Guardians of Oa, because he has a will of not being scared of anything, and he also just does not have any fear of anything, and that's when he turns into the Green Lantern. That'd be pretty epic. When he gets hit with that parallax of fear, nothing happens to him, and that's when maybe that's how a new ring was made for him by the actual lantern that he's holding and whatnot. And that's how he turns into a Green Lantern. I do think that would be pretty epic. He gets hit with the parallax parasite. Nothing happens to him. His body rejects him, because deep down, the Guardians of Oa know that he is good. He has a will, and he is actually a really good, person overall. He thinks methodically. He even tells Hal Jordan that he is better at saving people than he is. Hal Jordan just comes in, pow, poo, with just using like big abstract shields, and is not really a creative, I would want to say, lantern. He is more comes in with balls of fury, coming in hot type of style. John Stewart uses his calmness. He uses his brains to figure out how to save people, and his constructs are going to be pretty amazing to see on screen. They have confirmed also there's a 10-year gap in the show. So 2016 to 2026, the actual Superman film takes place between that, and we see Guy Garner show up in this trailer. We see him. It seems like he's visiting someone in prison. I don't think he is in prison, but it seems like he's visiting John Stewart. Why is John Stewart in prison? It seems like it's John Stewart. We don't know 100%, but we do see him in visiting someone in prison. Why is he visiting John Stewart? Maybe John Stewart gets pinned for something that he didn't do. Maybe Hal Jordan dies. Maybe Sinestro kills Hal Jordan. John Stewart gets blamed for him, and he breaks out somehow, somehow. And then he gets hit with that parallax. I'm not 100% sure. I do think maybe Guy Garner, as John Stewart was going on with Hal, and then John Stewart had already figured out what's going on with Hal. They break him out. Not 100% sure. I know Guy Garner is going to have some scenes in the series. But I do think that overall, how Chris Money, the showrunner for this series had already explained that this is going to have a 10-year gap, 2016, 2026. I do think that everything that we have been seeing has been from 2026 in the trailer. 100%, I do think that. Do think that that is what we've been seeing, him training and whatnot. And then we're also going to see maybe 2026, Hal Jordan maybe, is already dead, and John Stewart is kind of, trying to figure out who killed him. Maybe something that goes very True Detective, as Chris Money has said that this is based about. Maybe the murder of Hal Jordan never gets figured out until the end of the last couple episodes. That's when we go back in modern time. I do think that Hal Jordan's gonna die. He's gonna get killed off. Maybe he got influenced with the parallax. John Stewart figures out that he got influenced by Sinistro. Maybe unwilling. Maybe he got influenced by the parallax at a younger age, because Sinistro actually trained Hal Jordan. That is kind of the origin of the lanterns in the comic books, and then it is going to be canon in this series and in this universe. And I do think that maybe he got influenced by Sinistro. Sinistro somehow got the parasite inside of him without Hal Jordan even knowing, and he's always been influenced. And when he gets uninfluenced, or the parasite leaves him somehow, that's when he dies by Sinistro. Maybe John Stewart figured out that it is him. I don't know. We don't know what the mystery is, but overall, guys, I do think that this show looks really good. It's gonna be hard to market to like a general audience when it comes to comic book geeks only. When it comes to not even comic book geeks, people that just want to see people fighting in space. We are gonna see some space scenes, because we have seen that scene of Hal Jordan going to a different planet. We have seen that, so we're gonna see a lot of space scenes too as well, a lot of green, and I do think that we're gonna get some of that. But I do think that it's gonna be I think the show's gonna be good, but I think it's gonna be tough to sell it to some audiences. I think you can sell it to some people that are not like comic book fans. Just tell me, hey, this is a detective story. They're trying to figure out a murder mystery. I think it's called Rushville, Nebraska. It's, I think, the Make Believe City, and you're gonna sell it to those people that watch like True Detective, Yellowstone. And then we also had to try to sell it to people that are big into like action comic books. I do think if you're a straight up true comic book reader, you will like it, because it's heavily influenced by the Tom King Green Lantern Earth 1, and I think he is part of somewhat of a creator in this show too as well. But I really can't wait till we start learning more about the lanterns. I know this is gonna have another season. We'll probably explore different lanterns, different universes. I can't wait to see John Stewart actually in the Superman movie. He is a perfect casting in the DCU overall. I think he's my favorite casting for a character in the DCU, right over. I have David Cornston number 2 for Superman, and I love the John Stewart casting of Aaron Pierre as John Stewart. And I do want to talk about the suit, because everyone's crapping on the Hal Jordan suit. I do get it. He doesn't have the mask. It's not super green that pops. Something that you expect for seeing a Green Lantern in the DCU for the first time, especially if you're trying to grab new audiences, because people have already, have not been really big fan of the DC lately, because changing from Zack Snyder to James Gunn and whatnot. You gain this suit. It is very inspired by Earth 1 suit, but also you guys have to think about, this is a seasoned veteran Green Lantern suit, so it's gonna look a little older, a little robust. We're also gonna talk about Alan Scott. I think that they're gonna mention him. Don't think they're gonna show him. I don't think that they're gonna talk about his death, maybe, and that's the murder mystery they're trying to figure out. It could be you just never see him, but I'm not 100% sure about with the whole Alan Scott kind of situation is how he got his ring. I know I'm pretty sure Hal Jordan got the ring just like in the comic books. Another Green Lantern from a different universe crash landed here on Earth, and right before he died, that ring went to Hal Jordan, because the ring knew that he had the willpower to hold that Green Lantern ring. But yeah, guys, that's my somewhat of a breakdown of the Green Lanterns series called Lanterns, part of the James Gunn DCU universe. I do think that this show is going to be something special, something good. HBO always cooks with shows. The Penguin was phenomenal. For all the haters out there that are already hating on this before they watch it, give it a chance, guys. Give it a chance. Don't just be about action, intergalactic, just people using projections to blow each other up or smash each other. This is going to be a murder mystery, and I can't really wait to see this on on HBO Max when this comes out. But guys, thank you for taking the time of your day to watch this Lanterns trailer breakdown, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.